In 2022, every business is a software business. These are words from Marc Andreessen, one of the most respected investors in Silicon Valley. But what does he mean by that? Well, these days, if you want to launch a business, regardless of whether you're trying to sell software or you're trying to sell apples, you're going to need to build a website, you're going to need to build an app to launch your business. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the No-Code Startup, a program that we developed at We Are No Code to teach non-technical entrepreneurs how to launch their businesses and acquire hard skills to be able to do that over and over and over again. How's it going, everyone? Christian Peverelli here from my startup studio. I'm the co-founder of We Are No Code, and I teach non-technical entrepreneurs how to build their companies without coding at all. Now, we've trained more than 450 people at this point, people like Heidi, who went from idea to $25,000 in monthly recurring revenue without any experience or writing any code. And so I wanted to really break down how this program works, but more importantly, inform you why we created this program the way it is. And if you stick around until the end of this video, I'm gonna be giving you a little gift, so tune in. But before I do that, I wanna introduce you to my co-founder, Usha. She's the mastermind behind this entire thing. Now, 15 years ago, when I started my first company, we were required to build an app, a website to get things off the ground. However, I had two problems. The first one was that I had no experience building startups before. The second thing was that I had no technical skills, or I didn't have any coding skills. I didn't have programming friends who would do it for me for free. And so that caused me a world of pain. The options were pretty terrible. You could hire expensive developers that would drain all your cash and get you very frustrated. You could hire cheap developers who would essentially create spaghetti code and it would always end up unusable and super buggy. Or you could learn how to code, which was super frustrating. And of course, there's all those people who wait until they find a technical co-founder, but end up waiting and waiting and waiting. But once I was introduced to no code by one of my friends, I realized that there was this entire world where you could build software without coding at all. And that's what no code really is. It's a set of tools that allows you to drag and drop functionalities to build very simple or very complex software. You could build websites, you could build apps, you could build web apps, you could build all sorts of things, and you didn't have to have technical skills, and you didn't need to understand programming language at all. People have used these technologies to be able to build companies that have raised more than $13 million in funding, like Charles Thomas and his company Comet. We've also had people who have completely bootstrapped, which means that they've been able to build their companies raising no money from investors, like Scribbly.io, who was created by Danny Bell, who was able to go from idea to $30,000 in monthly recurring revenue, building things with drag and drop builders. We even have a company like Dividend Finance who has processed more than $1 billion worth of loans with a platform built in no code. And so this really made me realize that this was going to revolutionize the way that people built companies. And around the same time, I was asked to become the director of a startup accelerator program in Los Angeles called Startup Boost, where we trained more than 100 founders who went on to raise more than $50 million in funding. Now, what I realized by going through thousands of applications was that most people who were non-technical were really spending so much money and so much time with very little progress to show for it. And I realized that entrepreneurship degrees were teaching people how to build pitch decks and how to fundraise, but most people who were investing in companies were only really interested in learning about your company once you had revenue. There was actually this study done by Wing Capital, that are investors in Silicon Valley, that showed that basically most of the deals were going to companies that had revenue. And what that meant was that entrepreneurs had to build their technology, launch it in the market, get paying customers before they could expect to get the support of investors. And at that point, I realized there was a big gap happening and that entrepreneurship MBAs were not necessarily helping people with these hard skills on how to build, how to launch, and how to make money. And so the no-code startup really came from the fact that on one hand, there was really a lack of hard skills of building, launching, testing, actionable things. And on the other hand, I realized that 90% of all apps in the app stores were dead apps. They were zombie apps, no one was using them. Whether they were built with code or without code was irrelevant. So unless you really understood how to build companies that would get users, then it was really useless just to build an app or a website, right? So you had to combine both of these, and that's what we did when we created the curriculum around the No-Code Startup. So what's the No-Code Startup? The No-Code Startup is a program to teach non-technical entrepreneurs how to build their websites and apps, launch them in the market, get first paying customers, and prepare for revenue growth, prepare for investors, or prepare for investing accelerators. So it's really a way for you to go from idea all the way to revenue without writing a single line of code and without having any experience. So how does it work? Well, first of all, we have a video curriculum that brings people step by step through the actions that they need to learn to be able to take action on their startup ideas. But instead of having a bunch of fluff and teaching you a bunch of theory, what we do is that we teach you a concept, then we show you exactly how to apply it, and then we give you a template to do so quicker. And that's because we realize that learning through action is way more powerful than just overthinking. And most people are just stuck in analysis paralysis when it comes to taking action with their startup idea. But of course, you're gonna have lots of questions and you need way more support because your idea and what you're trying to build is gonna be very different than anyone else. And that's why, as part of the program, we give 1 year of video support, which means that if you have a question about a specific feature and how to create it, or if you want feedback on your pitch deck or something that you've done, you can send us a video with that question and we're gonna send you a video back. So that's 12 months of support. Now, because it's so important to focus on the right things and because accountability is so huge in building your startup, we also provide live weekly coaching. So that's 52 sessions, 1 year of weekly coaching that's part of the package. So that's with myself and my chief non-technical officer, Kaio, where we essentially help you break through your roadblocks within a team of 10 to 15 entrepreneurs. And that's because if you're working on the wrong thing, it doesn't matter how much you grind. So having the right guidance early on, and trust me, the advice of people in the corporate world or people who have a lot of business experience is completely different than what is required early on as an entrepreneur. You need to learn a variety of different things and you're constantly juggling different experiments to test the market. It's a very different game than working at a large company. And because we want everyone in our program to save as much money as possible, we also have this massive perks package with freebies for different software platforms. To be specific, $300,000 worth of discounts, which spans over 175 tools. So yes, the no-code tools that we teach within our program, but also email marketing tools, management tools, all sorts of different tools that you might need along your startup journey. Now, of course, people don't use all $300,000 worth of discounts. Usually they save about $5,000 over the span of their startup journey. But hey, $5,000 is a good amount saved when you're trying to stay on a budget. And because we've noticed that there are so many entrepreneurs who want to work with other like-minded entrepreneurs, to surround themselves with people who are doing the same thing, our community is incredibly vibrant and we are continually creating speed networking opportunities so that people can meet their new co-founders, share skills, find study buddies. It's a really powerful thing to work within a group of other like-minded entrepreneurs. We've had students like Leslie who went through the UCLA Accelerator, but unfortunately didn't have the skills to build out her platform. She joined the program and was able to launch her product in only 2 weeks. We also have small business owners in our program who are trying to digitalize their business. So Gavin had a t-shirt printing business and realized that he kind of wanted to get into the software game. And he actually built a software platform that allowed him to charge people who had t-shirt printing businesses to get creatives for their prints. And each one of those customers pays $1,000 in recurring revenue to get access to the platform. Now, if you want to learn more or join our program, we're actually putting on a Memorial Weekend discount. It's going to be a huge discount where we slash the price of our tuition for only 2 days, down by 50%. So instead of charging $1,997, we charge $997 for a 1-year program. Now, many of you will be watching this video later, so I'm sorry, but for those of you who are watching it before May 30th, you have an opportunity to join this program for an absolute bargain. And for those of you who don't have the money to join the program, don't worry, I have a gift for you. You can join our free 8-week program, How to Build and Launch a Startup as a Non-Technical Entrepreneur. You can check it out in the comment section of this video. Remember to like and subscribe, keep following our videos. We constantly give out free tips and tricks on how to build your startup, launch your online business as a non-technical entrepreneur. The future is digital, and you, my friends, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to learn some of these digital skills. So see you in the program or in the next video. Have an awesome day and take care.